Canada resettles thousands of refugees annually through its private sponsorship of refugees and government-assisted refugee resettlement programs. The refugees are selected through an interview or paper screening by a Canadian visa officer abroad. All refugees who are resettled to Canada are required to complete various application forms, included in what is called the IMM 6000 application kit. This kit contains the following forms: Generic Application Form for Canada, also called the IMM 0008. Additional Dependents Declaration Form, also called the IMM 0008 DEP. Schedule A Background Declaration Form, also called the IMM 5669. Schedule 2 Refugees Outside Canada Form, also called the IMM 0008 Schedule 2, and the Use of a Representative Form, also called the IMM 5476. In this video, the Refugee Sponsorship Training Program, or RSTP, will provide you with helpful tips on how to complete these forms. Before we start talking about completing the forms, let's first take a look at where they can be found. Locating the forms. There are two easy ways to locate the forms you will need. The application forms for refugee sponsorship can be downloaded from the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC website. You will need to complete these forms electronically. In your browser, type www.cic.gc.ca. From the welcome page, choose your preferred language to view either the French or English version of the website. Let's choose English for now. On the main page, you will notice various menus located on both sides of the web page. In the Most Requested menu on the right side of the web page, click on Find Application Form. This will take you to a page where immigration application forms have been organized based on the type of application. Another easy way to find the forms is on our website at www.rstp.ca. Here you go to the Processing menu and click on Application Forms. Applications are divided according to the type of refugee sponsorship application, such as through a sponsorship agreement holder, or SAW, or through a group of 5. Completing the forms. Consider the following general advice when completing your application forms. Check to make sure that you are using the most current version of the application form. You can find the date at the bottom left-hand corner of the form. Look at the instruction guide for a list of all required documents you will need to submit and instructions on how to validate and generate a barcode. Always provide correct and up-to-date personal information. Do not leave any information out because there is not enough space on the form. Attach extra pages if needed. Check Appendix A of the instruction guide for visa-specific documents and forms. And make sure that all the information provided is truthful and accurate. Otherwise, it could lead to the case being rejected because of misrepresentation. Let's look at how to fill out each form completely and correctly. Generic Application Form for Canada. The first form is the Generic Application Form for Canada, or the IMM 0008. You, as the principal refugee applicant, will need to complete this form. If there is more than one person on the application form, such as a married couple, the principal applicant, or PA for short, should be the person with the strongest refugee claim. Dependents, such as a spouse and dependent children, are not expected to fill out this form themselves. Let's open this form and look at its main items. Since applicants under other immigration categories also use this form, you need to choose the correct program and category. For item number 1 from the drop-down menu, select Refugee. For item number 2, an applicant must choose under which category or class he or she is applying. The default selection for refugee sponsorship applicants should be Outside Canada Refugee. Irrespective of the choice you indicate here, a visa officer is also expected to assess the application under the country of asylum class. For item number 4, you will select your preferred language from the drop-down menu. Regarding the language of interview, the drop-down menu provides a list of various languages. If your preferred language is not listed, you will need to select the blank option. For item number 5, you should select the place where your sponsoring group is located, which is the expected community of resettlement. Personal details. In the next section, Personal Details, make sure that your name is provided accurately to avoid any inconsistencies with your identity documents, such as a passport. Consistency throughout the application forms is very important. If in your culture or society, you do not typically use a family name or last name, you may opt to use the name of your parent or grandparent as your family name. Once you choose this name, you will have to use it consistently. Item number 2 asks about other names. Select either yes or no. If you have not used any other names and have selected no, you will not need to complete the gray fields. UCI in item number 3 refers to the Universal Client Identification Number or Client Identification Number. If you are a new applicant, you would not have this number and do not need to answer this question. If you have more than one citizenship, you are required to indicate them in item number 9. Item number 10 is about your status in the country of refuge. Make sure that you provide an accurate status. Please note that protected person refers to someone who has already been either recognized as a refugee by the UNHCR or the host country, while refugee claimant refers to the asylum seeker who has not yet been granted refugee status by the country of asylum or UNHCR, if UNHCR is the body that recognizes refugees in that country. Contact information. Providing up-to-date contact information where you can receive mail is very important in order to avoid delays with the processing of your application. It may also help to provide alternative contact information through which you can be reached, such as an email address. If you have moved or changed your contact information since you submitted your application, you should let the visa office and your sponsors know as soon as possible. Language detail. In this section, click on the drop-down menu to find your native language. If your language is not listed, leave it blank but write it in after you have printed out the application. Dependents. In this section, you will need to provide information about all of your dependents, including your spouse or common law partner and dependent children under the age of 19. It is important to note that whether your family members are coming with you or not, you will need to include all of your family members in this section of the form. Spouse can include a same-sex partner and conjugal partners. In addition to this, dependent children includes those over the age of 19 years who are fully financially dependent on a parent since before the age of 19 due to a physical or mental condition. Additional dependents. If you have more than one dependent, you need to click on the blue Add Dependent button to be able to add the personal information of the additional dependents. Only if your family includes more than 5 family members, you will also need to complete the Additional Dependents Declaration Form, or the IMM 0008 DEP. When you are finished, click on the blue Validate button to generate a barcode. Schedule A. This form captures the background information or declaration of the applicants. You, the principal applicant, and if applicable, your spouse, and each of your children who are 18 years of age or older, are expected to complete their own copy of this form. In sections 1 to 5, you should provide you and your parents' personal information. If you do not know the birth date of your parents, you can include an approximate age and date. Question 6 is important as it relates to admissibility. Make sure that what you write in this section is consistent with the rest of your refugee narrative. Personal history. Section 8 is one of the most important sections of this form, as it provides the personal history of the refugee applicant since the age of 18, or at least for the last 10 years. The information supplied in this section should be complete. You should include all of your activities, including brief ones. Also, the information should be in line with your refugee story and with what you have completed in other sections of your forms. Otherwise, it may raise questions of credibility. To ensure consistency of the information related to the date and place of the events listed, cross-reference this section against Section 12, which requires you to provide your addresses since the age of 18. Military service. The question regarding military history referred to in Section 11 should not be left blank. If you have done military service, you should indicate the specifics of your involvement, including your unit, rank, and any participation in combat. Remember, serving in the military does not exclude you from getting refugee protection. Addresses. Similar to the personal activities, your addresses since the age of 18 should be fully provided without leaving any gaps in Section 12. If you run out of space, fill out and attach an extra copy of this page. Finally, make sure that the declaration on the last page is signed and dated. The signature has to be original, as a photocopy or scanned copy is not accepted unless you are being sponsored through a sponsorship agreement holder or SAW. Use a blue pen or other visible ink so that your signature does not appear photocopied. Schedule 2. You, the principal applicant, family members over 18, and if applicable, any de facto dependents need to complete a copy of this form. Make sure that the correct box is checked at the top of the form, depending on who is filling out this form. Check the box that indicates that you have been identified for private refugee sponsorship by a Canadian sponsoring group. For item number 1, Part A asks if you have applied for resettlement before. If you have, remember to provide compelling reasons such as a change in circumstance to justify applying again. Refugee Story. In sections 3 to 7, you are requested to provide the main reasons you are making a refugee claim. Information should be included such as how you left your own country, why you could not return to your own country, and why you should be resettled to Canada. The information provided in these sections is the basis of your entire application. As a result, you should pay special attention to this section and provide detailed information. All information included, as a personalized narration, should be complete, truthful, and detailed. The form does not provide ample room to provide a very detailed account of your refugee claim. Therefore, you can write your narrative on a separate sheet and attach it to the form. Once again, your written refugee narrative in these sections should remain consistent with the information you have provided in all of your application forms. Question 8 inquires about your current status in your host country. If you do not have any status, you should indicate this. Skills and abilities. The information asked in Section 9 and 10 are relevant for the visa officer's assessment of your ability to establish yourself once you're in Canada, meaning your chance of becoming a productive Canadian citizen. It is important to provide information on your skills, education, language abilities, and other qualities. Do not understate yourself, as you could have a number of skills and qualities earned through informal training or work, or from your life experience as a refugee. Section 12 asks about the amount of money you can bring to Canada. As you are applying under the humanitarian program, your financial situation does not have any relevance to the judgment of your refugee claim. Ensure you provide the actual amount of money you will bring and refrain from exaggerating. If you are not bringing any money, enter none. Names in native language. Read the instructions in Part C carefully. All names given under questions 13 to 15 must be written in both English and in your native language. If you run out of space, you can attach a separate page. Make sure that the declaration on the last page is signed and dated properly. Use of a representative. You and your family members 18 years and over can complete this form if you want to allow someone in Canada to act on your behalf and do the necessary follow-up for your application. This form is optional. Thank you for watching this video on filling out the forms in the IMM 6000 package. For further information and helpful resources, please visit our website at www.rstp.ca.